Hi, welcome. Here is your Go Math lesson for today. We are on section 16.5, choose a tool. So how do you choose a measuring tool to use when measuring lengths? So we talked about earlier the different measuring tools. We have an inch ruler, this ruler that we use in school, it's called an inch ruler. We have a yardstick. A yardstick is a longer type of ruler, and we use it to measure longer lengths. We also have a tape measure. Unfortunately, I don't have one, but a tape measure it basically measures around something. If you have one of the ones that pull out, the metal ones, those measure longer lengths as well. So draw to describe how you measured the distance with the yarn. Let's see, what are we doing? Have each small group use a 1 yard piece of yarn to measure the distance marked on the floor. Okay. Yeah. Basically, we're not doing that. Basically, what they're asking you to do is, let's say, like instead of distance 1, let's change this up a little bit. Let's say that we're measuring a big chalkboard or a big Promethean board. If I were to measure a big board, then what would I use, class? Okay, yardstick. This is basically, the thing they told us to do is basically trying to teach you this, that bigger areas or longer areas will need to be measured with a yardstick. Okay? And shorter areas, let's say like your desk or your pencil, let's say your pencil, that would need to be measured with what? An inch ruler. A pencil would be measured with an inch ruler. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Something weird happened. Let's keep going. These are the tools for measuring lengths and distances. We have an inch ruler. An inch ruler can be used to measure shorter lengths. A yardstick shows 3 feet. It can be shown to measure greater lengths and distances that are bigger. And a measuring tape can be used to measure lengths and distances that are not flat or straight. So when we are done with this lesson, this part, we're going to cut out this part and we're going to glue it in our math notebooks. The reason we do this is because we like to use our math notebooks on tests. Sometimes I let you use them on a test. So if these are basically answers. You might get a question like this again from now till the end of the year, and you probably need, you're going to need this. All right, so let's move on. Choose the best tool for measuring the real object, then measure and record the length or distance. So let's talk about our book. The length, look at the arrows. The arrow shows you how you're measuring. You're measuring up and down. You're not measuring the width. You're measuring the length. So measuring our book, what are we going to use? Are we using a inch ruler, a yardstick, or a measuring tape? Inch ruler. Guys, because this is spelled correctly here, if you spell it incorrectly here, I'm going to make you do it again or I will count it wrong. Because that tells me you are just being lazy. It's spelled right there. Alright, so if we were to measure our books, the length of our books, how long would our books be? I'm just going to do our HMH book. So I'm going to use my inch ruler and I'm going to measure. So start from the edge all the way to the top. Right about, I can't measure while I'm holding, but I'm going to do it like this. It's about 10 inches. See how it stops at the 10? It's about 10 inches long. So if we were to do our Go Math book, is our Go Math book 10 inches long? Try it. How long is your Go Math book? The HMH book is 10 inches. Good. Very good. That's right. The right answer was 10. The Go Math book is 10 inches. So it's up to you. You can either put 10 inches, or actually the HMH book was also 10. So 10 inches. We all have the same book, so they should all be the same length. It's not about 11, hon. It's 10. It's exactly 10. You probably measured wrong. Okay, moving on. The distance around a cup would be measured with what? Measuring tape. For this one, since we don't have measuring tape, we're just going to write measuring tape. You don't have to write the distance because we don't have one. We can't measure it. But if you do, since onliners, you're at home and you probably do have a measuring tape at home, then I want you to go ahead and do that part. But for us, we're just going to go ahead and just write measuring tape. I'm going to move on. Number 3, the length of a chalkboard. What are we going to use? A yardstick. And the length of a yardstick, we're going to use a yardstick. And the length of the board, we're going to try. From here to here is 40. And then from here to here is 30. And 40 plus 30 is 70. So the length of our Promethean board is 70 inches wide. You can just write 70 inches. That's fine. Okay? It is pretty easy. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do number 4 and 5 on your own. Number 5, we don't have a measuring tape. So again, you're just going to write measuring tape. You don't have to measure the distance. For number 4, I do want you to write the tool and measure. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, so number 4, it says the length of a marker. We're going to measure that with an inch ruler. I asked for you guys to go ahead and do your highlighters. If you're at home, do whatever marker you have. If I measure my highlighter, it's about 4 inches long. Now, everyone's highlighter is different. Some people have the longer ones. Some people's are the skinny ones. It may be different. It may be 3. It may be 5. But it shouldn't be anything bigger than 5. Mine is 4, so I'm going to write 4. If yours is 3, write 3. If yours is 5, write 5. Again, it shouldn't be anything bigger than 5, though. Okay? So mine's 4 inches. The tool that we're going to use for a globe is a measuring tape. So you can go ahead and write measuring tape here. And we don't know the distance. Okay, number 6. Rachel wants to measure the length of a sidewalk. Should she use an inch ruler or a yardstick? A yardstick. Is a sidewalk large or small? Large. Very good. So you would use a yardstick because the sidewalk is big. Write that. Because the sidewalk is large or big. Go ahead and pause the video now. All right, moving on. What is an object that you would measure with a measuring tape? What's something we would use a measuring tape? A globe. Very good. Maybe a globe or anything that's a sphere or a cylinder. Anything that's round, right? So let's write that down. Anything that is round, we would measure with a measuring tape. Anything that is round, like a sphere or a cylinder. Okay, anything that is round like a sphere or a cylinder. And then it says explain. Why? Because these things are round and you can only, with an inch ruler or yardstick, you can only measure flat things. A measuring tape can bend, so you can bend those things. So why would you use this tool? Because a measuring tape can bend. Okay, after you're done with this, go ahead and complete page 572 to 574 on your own. You are not working on the purple page yet. You're just going to stop on page 574. We're going to do the rest another day, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Have fun learning math, and I'll see you later. Bye.